Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavlich and Jesse Martineau.
Welcome back to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavlich, and across the way in the Grove, the big sexy, wearing the extra special Stingers hat today, the one and only Jesse Martineau.
Thanks so much, Mark.
You're welcome.
Good to hear you. Nice coffee you have there.
Mm-hmm.
You're one coffee a day?
No, I'm two now.
Man,
I'm two now. One in the morning, French press, and then later on in the afternoon to keep my brains together. So I'm up to two now. But that's I'm 54 years old. It took me this long to get to two. I don't see myself going past that, just for the sole purpose of what I can't drink one before I go to bed, right? So, and I've been going to bed earlier too, which is super strange.
that is strange for you.
Yeah, unbelievably strange. But it must be all this. I don't know what it is. Allergy season.
Well, it is allergy season, and that's
it is. Yeah. And I suffer from. I'm allergic to everything. So that's. It's so funny. The doctor. I plant a garden, and he goes, "Mark, you're allergic to vegetable plants." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." I said, "I only got 20 pots in the backyard."
One thing you're not allergic to, though, is being on a bandwagon.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Now you can. Oh. That's such low-hanging fruit, and I don't know why. It's because I live in the city of Edmonton, and I support the Edmonton Oilers, and everybody knows I'm a Detroit Red Wing fan. But it is what it is, and I have no shame in it whatsoever, none.
Well, I don't know. I think you should.
Well, why? I see what they did to your Calgary Flames.
I remember not too long ago, a few short months ago, we were both making fun of the Oilers.
Well, yeah, but we're here now, right? So we live in the city. You don't live in Edmonton, right? So it's different for you. I live here, and so many of my friends are huge Oiler fans. And I want them to do well, but I said, I see what's happening.
Well, they're in
right
trouble now.
They're in big trouble right now. And you know what's funny? I took Colorado to show them what level it takes to get to the next level.
I did pick Colorado to win the cup.
There you go. So I didn't. So you look at the Oilers situation right now, and you say to yourself, okay, is it just goaltending that's the problem? No, but you're right about when you said at the beginning of the season, would a 41-year-old goalie go longer?
He's good, and the problem is he's good for one bad goal, at least one bad goal a game, guaranteed.
Yeah, yes, and you can't, and as you know, you can't do that in the playoffs. And then you look at some guys on the defense too. You're like, oh my God, they're
not stepping up.
They're not stepping up. They're getting blown by easily, and everybody thought the Oilers were the fastest team in the NHL until we saw Colorado, and it's literally like, oh my God, like there's another level to this still. So if you're sitting at home and you're playing in your hockey pools next year, and you start looking at all these teams, I'm telling you, like the gap between, they could sweep the Oilers right now tonight in Edmonton. Yeah. And can you imagine if that does happen with Draisaitl and McDavid and Kane and all these, and Hyman, and you get swept?
Yeah, but you got like one thing I said about Colorado, like they're built really well, and we know that. I mean, potentially that could be the Oilers if they play their cards right.
Correct.
Because they've had McKinnon for a while, like no question. He's been in the league longer than McDavid. So they've had him for a while. They got Lannon, Skog, but Rantanen and the guys like that have all been awesome. And they've put in, and I mean their backup goaltender playing amazing, even though their first is great too. But their backup is playing awesome.
If the Oilers have any sense, they'd go after either one of them on the offseason.
Well, yeah, you might be able to get the other guy.
Yeah, you have to.
So if you could build that way, then you have a chance to beat them.
Yes.
The thing is that, again, like when you and I both said, like, the taper off the top line is pretty steep. Where Colorado has had time to develop those other three lines in a way that, can really manage and aren't liable. And people are asking, why isn't Cassian out more? Because he gets scored on every time he's out there. Like, he's liable.
What about Nurse too now? They've exposed him. I have talked him up.
I know you have.
Something special.
I've always been
He's
down
so
on
athletic. He's so athletic. But you know what we realized? Yeah, he's athletic, but his IQ is the shits. He
panics. It almost looks panicky.
It looks like he's playing peewee hockey. He's sitting in his end. He goes to tip the puck out of the end. It's 3/4 down the ice, and he puts it over the boards. Yeah. I mean, you're in the third game of the play. You're in the third game of the playoffs.
See, sometimes I find that like guys that are super athletic rely on that too heavily, and they start chasing a little bit because you can keep up.
Yeah,
but you're not positional, and we all know that hockey, especially defensively, position is key. Like, you have to be positional. There's no question. And with the skill of athleticism as well. But when you start chasing, you're in trouble, and you can't let those guys loose. Just like you can't let McDavid loose. You can't.
But do you think McDavid, Jesse, right now is getting tired? Like you can actually kind of see him. Like he's not playing. His last 3 or 4 games have not been very well, and you got to think to yourself.
Well, I think he hurt himself last game too.
But maybe he's tired. When you carry this team so much on your back, like he has, maybe you're getting a little tired coming into these.
I don't know. I would like to think no, but
we're into June. We're into June now, right?
No, for sure.
I
would like to think no, but it's a possibility. We also don't know what's gonna. Well, we know Draisaitl is hurt. There's no question, and
well, he's hurt. Like
he's hurt.
I think he's operational hurt. Like
he might be. You might be right.
Yeah.
Like I think that he is actually pretty darn hurt. So
yeah.
So obviously that hurts you, and then you're and Smith isn't good.
He's just good enough to like I don't know. It's
like it just
yeah.
You need a guy to steal you a game. Like they could have won game 3.
Yes.
Because they were in it, and then a bad one, and then the whole team grips their stick tighter. Like
it is.
Yeah, I can see Edmonton winning tonight, but I again, that being said, I don't know. Like maybe that day.
Do they want to get on the plane? Do they want to get on the plane to go back? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I know they want to win, but
that's a real thing in real life, though. You know that, right? Like, it's like, oh my God, it's just too much work. It's too much work to get back, right? So, that's sometimes for guys they think like that, and like I said, there's a lot of great players right now on Edmonton, but like you said, the depth it's kind of tapers down immensely after you take. Like, even Nugent Hopkins, he's done nothing.
What I think happened is that they were so amped up for the last series.
Yes.
That they spent themselves. And again, it was a short one for them, but that being said, they'd never had to have been that physical for 5 games in a row.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you go into Colorado, who also is a physical team. There's no question. Hey, what'd you think about that hit?
With Kane?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. If it was done on anybody else on the planet besides Kadri, this would have been way more catastrophic. But you know what? But you know what though? That's not fair either, Jesse.
No,
that's
isn't.
That's not fair. That's not fair either. In fact, I'm okay with Kadri, because if Kadri played for my team or played for Calgary or Detroit or whatever the case may be, I would love him. But it's funny when it happens to players like that. That doesn't make it immune to what it is. Kane, listen, I'm a huge Kane fan. I think Kane is the thug that Edmonton needed. Yeah. They needed a thug. Even if you got a 5-minute penalty, who gives a shit? They need someone someone's gonna be scared of.
Yeah, you gotta be scared of them.
Because we clearly saw that nobody was scared of like what I'm saying is.
Well, you're not scared of Connor. You're not scared of that.
No, but what I'm saying is the abuse that Connor took against Calgary alone should make you think twice.
Yeah.
When next year you need certain people to come in, and it's not certain people to come in during the course of the year. It's people to come when you make it into the playoffs because people had, like, I'm telling you, the stuff that Connor took against Calgary, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I couldn't. And you know what? Good for Lucic. If that's what he's going to do, and you're going to let him, hey, if you're going to let him snow the goalie when he comes down the ice every time, then c'est la vie. They're going to snow the goalie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, you absolutely. And I think, I mean, again, the jury's out on Ken Holland, I really think. And we've, and your dad's very vocal about this too, and he loves Detroit, that, you know, kind of, they have great scouting, but was he a great man? Did he really have to do much to make that team awesome?
No.
And so he's come here, and can he get those deals done? Because it seems like he just wants to hold tight. That, or they actually don't want him to make any moves. I don't know.
Yes, I'm not. That's like, true too.
You don't know. Like, I really, I mean, if they had Marc-Andre Fleury, which they have now 3 chances to get him, I think this is a different series. Like, I actually think they go all the way. Smith has just been a sieve, and he's always, when you're used to your goalie letting in bad ones, and it is common, then your defense can't play as free as they normally would. Your forwards are a little more scared to give out the puck. It trickles through the whole team, and everyone gets the thing. And then one goes in, and you're like, oh, no. And you got to fight through that every single game at some point. And unfortunately for the Oilers, it happened with 10 minutes left in the third last game, and it's too short left to recover from that. Yes. And, you know, then they try to force it to McDavid. And Colorado's played it actually very well.
You can't get started. McDavid can't get started.
They've figured out how to shut that.
Yeah, stop him before he starts. Stop him before he starts, because if he starts, he'll kill you. Yeah. Right? Let's call it what it is. He's the greatest hockey player on the planet. End of story. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Oh yeah,
he is. And even you know, the added additions of Hyman and people like that, fantastic. But you said from day one, you cannot ride a 40-year-old goalie into the playoffs. You can play with them regular season, no problem. We're not shitting on Smith, everybody. Yeah. So Oiler Nation, don't go crazy right now. Smith, you know what? You guys should literally make a statue of him, because he's basically been your grunt utility man for $2 million.
He's been your leader.
So
really?
Yeah, he really is. He's your John Wayne.
Yeah.
And because you got no leaders in that damn dressing room, you never had. It's not going to be Connor. It's not going to be Draisaitl. They're not leaders. They're hockey players, and that's it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm trying to tell you is, watch every team that's won the Stanley Cup in the last 10 Stanley Cups. They're not going to tell you who. They're going to tell you the guy that's on the third line. They're going to tell you the guy that's on the fourth line that's in the dressing room. When he talks, everybody shuts their pie hole, because he's already won 3 Stanley Cups and he knows how to win them. And he's going to tell you, you know, the pain you're feeling right now, that's what it feels like to win the Stanley Cup. Now get in line. And listen, if they go down 4 straight with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl being in Edmonton, if that doesn't give you the red flag, the kind of like an alert to go, okay, we got to hurt some people's feelings, like a Smith, like a Nugent Hopkins, like a Cassian, because here we are now. We're at the place where we're all standing here going, oh, Oiler Nation, go Oilers, oh, go Oilers. And then you said it, you must have said it on this podcast at least 1,000 times about Smith, about the defense, which they look like they're about 2 beats behind Colorado when they come down the ice. It literally looks like the father-son game in a Pee Wee hockey triple tier 7 game. You know what I mean? When the fathers come down the ice skating past the defense, that's what it looks like. And I'm sitting here going, I can't be the only one that doesn't see this. And you're right, Jesse. Maybe Holland is past due. He was probably past due before he got to Edmonton, but Edmonton needed a name guy with some experience that could have a kind of the Detroit pedigree. So on his flight to BC, as he was going to go retire there, they said, wait, just stop in Edmonton first for 4 or 5 years and then go retire after that. But he was already retired.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would go that old school when you have the young coach mentality, of the young team mentality. Why not double down and go with the manager too? Like,
but then he showed this new coach has showed his youth and his inexperience on a lot of line changes so far.
Yes, now it's caught up to him, right? Now, and a lot of people like him, and I think you need to ride him out. Like I've been saying that. I think they should have rode 3 coaches ago, probably.
Yeah.
McLellan, I think they should have just kept him. But that being said, like, you got to stay with this guy now. You've invested in him. He's taken you further than you've been in how long? Since the last cup run in 05 or whatever it was.
Got the city excited. Everybody's excited.
Yeah, everyone's okay. It looks like they're playing for you. You gotta go with this guy. And you know, even if Connor's upset and doesn't like something, it doesn't matter. Like he needs some Crosby-ness to him. Yeah. I really do believe it. Like he doesn't have to be like that completely, but he needs to be a little bit like that. And he, you know, the frustration on the ice and you know, like, give me the frustration boils over, and then you know that is when it boils over, you know it's been in there for a while. So that being said, like you need more guys that can level you out, and I think that's what they hoped Duncan Keith would be. That experiment has failed because he looks his age.
But you said it was going to fail. Yeah. You said it was going to fail. I mean, Duncan Keith maybe 3-4 years ago, fantastic.
Sure, great.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, no, it's like
not when you have to rely on that. Like that's the problem. That's what I mean. Like not when you have to rely on Nurse. Like that's what you can rely. You can rely. I don't think you can rely on them. You need another guy there that can be that guy that you can rely on, and he can bring everyone else with them to make them better.
Okay, before I forget, our guest.
Yes.
Okay, you're wearing the Stingers hat. NBA point guard for the Los Angeles Clippers will be on next week.
Oh.
He has messaged me. He had difficulties. What I'm not to say what the difficulties are, but he had some family stuff came up, and he has rescheduled this is the first time this has ever happened to the Me and Jesse podcast. So I just got notified just now because we are a live show. So
yes, we are.
Yes, it's like we're super live.
This is really live.
Super live. So Xavier Moon will be on next Monday, 100%. He is confirmed. And so it's just me and Jesse today, but he has reconfirmed that he will be on the show next Monday.
All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah. I like some Xavier Moon. 3
times.
Yes, the 3-time.
Yes.
CEBL.
Here's another prediction by Jesse the Greek.
Yes.
Jesse the Greek. Listen, there's no secret, okay, everybody? And I know it sounds super bizarre, but if you gave me a chance to go to game 4 to watch the Oilers play, or a regular season game to watch the Stingers play, I would go watch the Stingers play in the Canadian basketball. No. Listen to me when I tell you this. The Canadian Basketball League, I went the first time a few years ago with Jesse and my dear friend Ken Franchuk. We went to the game. It was one of the best times I've ever had at a sporting event. And let me explain this to the sports fans at home. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been to Game 7s. I've been to the U.S. Open golf.
Yeah.
I've been to like big events. I like me some Stingers basketball. I don't know. I've been to NBA basketball as well. This Wednesday, Jesse and I, with Ken Franchuk, will be sitting courtside for the Stingers game. And then again on Sunday, Jesse and I will be attending the game again on Sunday.
Yes.
And not arguably, but famous rapper. There's a famous rapper that now plays.
We're still not sure if he's going to be there.
That's right.
J. Cole.
J. Cole. But J. Cole plays for the team.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the Stingers announced that, hey, we need some more seating here.
We've expanded seating on Sunday.
But Jesse and I will be easy to find on Sunday because we will be sitting with our feet on the court.
Yes. Courtside, half court.
Courtside, half
the
court.
Best seats in the house.
Best seats in the house when we go to the games. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited to go to the game on Wednesday and then to return on Sunday. Fantastic. Count me in.
It is really fun. It's super fun, actually.
Yeah.
It's extremely fun. And if you haven't been yet, that's our question of the day. Have you been to a CEBL game yet? And you need to. I honestly do think that it's a sport that we need to support here in Edmonton and across the country because it is a Canadian Elite Basketball League. America, they have a thing with sports that you basically could put up a lawn dart league in and it would be successful. Have you seen that wiffle ball?
No.
Yes.
I have to disagree because I watched this weekend the USFL, And there was literally
but football's done. Football's been done.
But I'm just saying, USFL.
I'm talking new sports.
Literally 4 people were in the stands during the USFL games. So,
but I mean more like the other sports that they introduce, like lawn darts, would have people come to it. That's what they do. Like, pickleball has a huge fault. There's it's packed when they have
Listen, pickleball is just waiting for one thing, my friend. Yeah. One thing and one thing only, and that's me to bring the headband,
I wear and me
to the game of pickleball. Because once I get involved in pickleball, that's one place. You go to the basketball games, I leave the trash talk to you. We do anything, I leave the trash talk to you. We get to pickleball, the trash talk will come out from me immensely because I am great with rackets in my hand. It doesn't matter what racket. You put a ping pong racket in my hand, tennis,
what's a paddle?
Badminton, and it's just I'm good with rackets and clubs too as well. But I'm telling you, it's going to happen this summer.
What about bats?
I'm so.
All right.
So. Just being honest, so. But fists, for boxing, rackets, like that kind of coordination. But as I get older now, I think pickleball's right up my alley.
No, you'd love it. I honestly do believe
everybody says it's fantastic. I haven't heard anybody talk crap about pickleball. And
anyone that does just hasn't played, honestly. Like everyone that makes fun of it hasn't played.
Trash talk. That's right.
And you're like, oh, that's stupid for opening. But anyone that plays, you're like, holy crap, that's actually pretty dang fun. And it is.
So just let everybody know, Xavier Moon
next week. I put a message on there for everyone.
1,000% next Monday. He will be on the show. And Xavier Moon's getting a ton of press from the Me and Jesse podcast. He's getting it back. He's getting it back-to-back weeks here, man. This guy, you better be good, Xavier. Okay, so he better be good. You know what I'm saying?
My chair is breaking. Here we go. All right, so I was gonna say about the sports. America has this way with sports that they can put anything on. Have you seen that wiffle ball baseball?
Yes. Have you seen the frisbee golf?
Well, frisbee golf's huge, man.
It's
huge. Even getting big
it's
here.
Huge.
We actually have big tournaments here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know, and in the Okanagan, it's really big. And so, it's one of those things. Like one of my kids goes and plays frisbee golf every week, and so
you're kidding.
No, he plays with his friends, and then his friends carry around these backpacks with 15 different discs in them, and you're like,
super cool. Listen, anything for kids. Listen to me when I tell you this, parents at home. Anything to get kids to put down the damn phone and to do something physical is the best thing in the world. That makes me so happy to hear that your boys are playing frisbee golf, are doing anything different in sports, that they're not on the phone or playing stupid video games all day.
Well, the volleyball court is set up in the backyard now, so that's...
Isn't it great to have a wife that's super athletic that goes, okay, game on, man, and she can whoop your kids' asses, Right.
So exactly. So and that is part of the thing. I agree. It is awesome that, and I think here too. When you live in Canada,
awesome
you have a different perspective.
That your backyard is so big that you can put full courts of basketball.
But when you live in Canada, we have a mentality about summer. Because we earned it. We had to live through 6 months of hell. Frozen hell. Seven this year. And it really hasn't been great this year so far. But then when summer comes, man, you just want to be outside.
People go nuts. They go nuts.
You do. Yeah. I think so. I go a little bit.
But nuts. But listen, you know what I like about it is because I'm an avid hiker, right? And when I hike, I don't care anymore. So
are you gonna go to the mountains?
Yeah, I can go anywhere, Jesse. See, Jesse, the worst person on the planet to ever shit talk about hiking is with me. I don't care what the distance is. I don't care what the climate is.
We should start doing some summits.
So I tell people all the time now, I'm like, people always trash talk. I see young kids are like, hey, I'll come hiking with you. I'm like, no, you won't. Because listen, I can hike abnormally long distances. It doesn't matter if it's uphill, downhill, hot, cold. I was hiking on the weekend with my main hiking partner. One of them's Minot, and then the other one's Sean Obrowski. And what happens is when I'm hiking, we do 20K. It's like nothing. It's like, you understand that's where the mind is now, right? So when I tell people all the time, and you know what else I tell people? It doesn't matter if it's plus 20, plus 30, plus 40, or minus for me anymore. It really is not, Jesse. It's not. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm trying to tell you that my mind doesn't care. as one of our great guests, Laval Saint Germain always says, no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So Laval Saint Germain said that to me one day, and I was like, you know what, he's right. So I don't care what the weather is. It was raining today. I went for a 10-kilometer hike, which is literally like walking to the corner for me, and it's raining out. I didn't care. Nothing, and I feel fantastic. So
well, when are you gonna do you have a desire to start climbing mountains?
No, Jesse, because I'm clumsy. So that's
I don't mean like using your pick and like
you mean like Mount Kilimanjaro.
There's lots of
like Mount,
but
like
steep hike.
Like Mount Kilimanjaro or something like that. Like those are mountains I could do because of I don't need to like have rope and stuff like that. But I don't care what it is. There's nothing.
Well, there's bears you got to fight here.
Yeah, that's right. But don't forget, when I hike, I have more knives on me than the guy at the circus that throws them. So I have knives everywhere.
You need some bear spray.
Yeah, bear spray. I'm gonna shank anything that comes within within my radius.
You've never met a bear.
Well, yeah, when I stab him in the eye 4 times, or But when I know. If I was hiking there, I would have bear spray. Yes.
Now I know that you hike so much, and
yes.
You just launched your new website.
Oh. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
That's nice to put a plug in.
Well, the hikingshop.com, hiking store.
Yes, thank you.
So, well, tell us about it, because I mean, people need to know where they get their hiking stuff. And again, you're just starting. Yeah. So, but tell us the future.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I wouldn't have. Oh. So for someone that's such a promoter, I don't promote my own stuff very well. But it's funny because we started the hiking shop because I wear cool stuff when I hike. So a lot of people were asking like, hey, where'd you get that headband? Hey, dude, where'd you get the shirt? Where'd you get this? And so what I noticed in the hiking world was everything was taupe, earth tone. Yeah. And I wanted to bring some cool colors to hiking. And
like tennis.
Very much like tennis, right? So, which I love too. So, and my boy Nadal just won the French Open this weekend, which was fantastic.
The guy can't lose on clay.
We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that though. But the hiking shop was created, and it's the hikingshop.com, and it was created to make really cool stuff, and not just like headbands, socks, custom socks, t-shirts, sweatshirts, you name it, all of it. And the store is going to be open soon. The website's up now, blogs, YouTube channel. I started laughing. Our YouTube channel's got 235 subscribers already. It was open for a week. And I thought the hiking world, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I was super happy because I was like, we're just a little hiking shop. And literally people are coming, like the hiking world is supporting us in a very big way around the world, because we just started. Like it's comical. Like we're at the, when you say a startup, we're at the startup stage.
Yeah.
So check it out today, everybody. Go to thehikingshop.com. And like I said, do I believe it'll be very big? Yes, because I think people, when they find out what hiking can do for them mentally, as well as what people can find out what fly fishing can do for you mentally, like you do, they will find out that hiking, I said it today, and I hate to talk about it because I don't want to debunk anybody's theory about mental illness. But I do believe that if you hike as much as I do and find time, listen, and people go, oh, how do you find the time? I'm so busy. I'm like, shut up, go hiking. What I'm trying to explain to you, I do work an obscene amount of hours in a week, but because I can put away X amount of hours for hiking, that allows me to work more because of that. And I know it sounds crazy, but what people need to learn is that once you start hiking, I hike with someone who has type 1 diabetic, who's a very bad type 1 diabetic, and the amount of drugs that he doesn't have to take anymore because of hiking is incredible. So I've seen a lot of things take place, people with anxiety, depression, this and that. Start hiking and your medication will sink down, will be less and less and less as weeks go by if you start hiking. I guarantee it. Well,
it's interesting that, when we talk about mental health stuff, especially I mean, there's things you got to do, and again, we've talked about that for years, about some of the steps you need to take. So you can go to thehikingshop.com, check it out.
Yeah. And there's lots of stuff on there.
Are you going to get some polls on there?
No, not yet. And I was going to
one day.
Look, because I told people the other day, and people were like, oh, I can't believe you said that, Mark. I said for older people to throw your canes away. I go, throw them in the garbage. They're shit. They're no good for you. You're walking bent over, like you're hunched over, and you see elderly people with horrible posture. And then what do? My dad's here. My dad's 88 years old, and he's been on our podcast because, of course, he's NHL linesman, was in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So that's why he was on our show, and arguably the best at his job in history. And so I see him walking. He's got a little bend to him going. I'm like, Dad, what is that shit? You got to fix your posture. You can't be walking around bent over like that. So I gave him the hiking pole, and guess what? Old Matt's got the back straight up. He's walking correctly. Doesn't leave home without the hiking pole. No cane, and he's walking straight up. So I tell elderly people, get yourself a hiking pole and walk straight. Do not bend over with your cane. This is one of a million things that I found out about hiking. So your sex life will become better. Your appetite will be better. Your endurance will be better. Your mental state will be better. And your medication will drip down. No matter what medication you're taking, which for yourself, for mental illness, it will get lower.
Cool.
Because of hiking.
Well, you mentioned before at the old Roland Garros.
Yes.
Your boy, Rafa.
Oh, my God. I was going nuts.
Well, I mean, the guy can't lose. It was an easy one.
I know, but it was an easy one though. It was like almost like it was like a walk over it. I didn't like the match sucked, especially when you get up that early to watch it in the French Open. And I always have breakfast French Open. I make a big deal about it. I do the same for Wimbledon, and you know the guy that he played though. He used to go to Rafael's tennis academy.
Oh,
so they know him very well. He was like a student there. So. You know, he that's like playing your idol. You know what I'm saying? And I think he was looking across the net, looking at him, staring at him for an hour going, oh my God, this is the guy. I know this guy. And then by the time he got done doing that, the match was over. But he also beat Djokovic on this one here too.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal.
So let's talk about greatest tennis players of all time. Most people believe it's Roger Federer. Some people believe it's going to be Djokovic, and I believe it's Nadal. And I'll tell you why. Nadal has 22 victories, regardless of what surface they're on. 14 are on at the French Open. 22 majors. The next closest is Federer at 20, and then Djokovic at 20. Federer won't win another major. Okay, he's done.
That's what they said 8 years ago.
No, but he won't now. He just won't because he doesn't even really play that much, right? Like he's kind of like, it's kind of gotten in the wayside. Djokovic though can. He might have another 10 in him. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but he just had some injury problems.
Exactly. See how this all happens? Look at Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods never beat my guy Jack's record for majors in golf, and same thing with Tiger. Tiger looked like he was going to break that record. All of a sudden, injuries happen, car accident. You know, so it stopped him from getting maybe to that point. You know, so that's the great thing about the crazy thing about sports. This kind of stuff can happen.
And it is actually, tennis is one of the funny ones because you always have a few guys that are unreal. Like to have Federer and Nadal, like you're like, oh, how is that even possible? Well, it's happened multiple times throughout.
Of course, Sampras and Agassi.
I know exactly.
Come on, man. John McEnroe, Connors, Jimmy. I mean, come on. Yeah. And listen, Johnny Mac was my favorite.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Johnny Mac was my ultimate favorite.
Mine was Agassi because of the era.
and he was great. I mean, Agassi was great. I mean, he brought tennis to a whole nother planet, in my opinion.
But really, we should say the greatest tennis player of all time is Serena.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You mean any gender?
Of anyone. And I think it's hard.
I think, I get what you're saying, right? And I'm okay with that because Serena is such a unbelievable what she's done in tennis. But I do believe the greatest of all time is Nadal. And I think Nadal is, and you know why I say Nadal? He is the guy that never gives up on a point ever. That's the only guy you can ever say in tennis never gives up on a point, never gives up on anything. And you've seen the other players. I've seen Federer lay down. I've seen Djokovic lay down.
Djokovic is at 20.
Let's not forget about Djokovic too. Some of the things he's done in the tennis world and some of the way he's conducted himself on court has made him very easy not to like.
Yes.
Like at the US Open and things like that, and the way he talks. Now, Federer has been the ultimate gentleman in tennis, and so has Nadal. You can never say anything about Nadal. Now, don't forget
both
about
of them are class acts.
The two of them right there, in my opinion, they're 1 and 2, or like 1A, 1B, or 1, and they could be either one at any time. Don't forget those Serena, and I love Serena, okay? But don't forget the time Serena kicked the line girl. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I agree.
There's these things that come up in my head, and same with Djokovic. You know, some of the comments he's made on court, and some of the way he's acted. And then when at the U.S. Open, when they start booing, because the New Yorkers don't like him at all, right? And
yeah,
that's the wrong place for them not to like you. And they get on that guy and literally cheer when he loses every point, and then he gets mad at the crowd. You know, like you're a professional athlete. This is not your place. Hey, listen, I've been to ball games before, like Major League Baseball games, where I've heard fans talk to some of the players, where if I was the actual player, I'd throw my baseball bat at your forehead.
Right.
Because
they're trying to crack down on that.
And it's horrendous. I mean, horrendous. Now, I would never cross that line with any athlete ever, but you're starting to see now, even in the NBA, some of the players saying, okay, that's enough, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got to be careful. Like, even as a fan, there is a kind of a code of conduct where you should not be using certain terms with players that play on any team. I don't care who they are.
Absolutely. I think there's still that's the thing about trash talking. Like, that is one of the deals, is like, you know, to me, it's more clever when you can refrain from using the
profanity
easy punches.
Right.
Like,
and wait a second, ladies and gentlemen, you need to listen to this right now and get out your piece of paper and pen for Jesse Martineau's tutorial on how to trash talk correctly, because he is beyond fantastic at it. In fact, he should have a book written about how to trash talk for idiots, so that for dummies, trash talk for dummies 101, that you can learn how to trash talk at any sporting event without using profanity or without using someone's ethnicity or you know, like
family
things like,
or
none of that stuff. Stuff.
Anything.
And I'm talking, he's got a black belt in this. I'm telling you, I've seen it live, and I'm going to see it again on Wednesday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I couldn't be any more excited.
It'll be good. I do think it's funny, and you know, it is, you know. But again, with basketball, it is part of the game almost, where it's pretty intimate with the fans. Like, you're right there.
Oh, Jesus. I listen, I've been to NBA games, and you can literally hear everything. And then, of course, when we go to the Stingers games, if we were any closer, we're on the court, right? So you could, Jesse's even cracking up with the referees and stuff, and they're having conversations with them back, which is hilarious. So I got to give the referees big props too, because they're pretty sharp. They were pretty sharp.
And that was what was really impressive. Speaking of referees, and this is a big thing, like, you know, as a Flames fan, I really do think that the last goal of the Oilers was not the distinct kicking motion that we've all come to expect is supposed to be the non-goal, because they changed the rule a couple times to a distinct kicking motion because of that exact thing. So,
but isn't there a bigger problem here, Jesse? Though,
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
With the NHL, there's no clarification. No, it is ridiculous. Like,
you one night that could count, and the next night it might not, and you're like,
correct.
And then they double down on themselves, like the offside thing with the Oilers.
Yeah,
they double down on themselves and say, "Oh, this is why," and you're like, "Okay, yeah, you didn't touch it until that thing is, and okay, fine, but you've called that all the time throughout the season. If that play happens in a regular season, you blow it down. You don't let it. You call it offside.
Watch this. I call my dad.
Yeah.
Once again, greatest linesman probably in the history of the NHL. Hockey Hall of Fame. I call him up on the phone. I'm on tilt. I'm like, Dad, what the hell's offside now, right? So I go on Twitter. This tweet, I've only got one tweet in the history of my Twitter that got more action than this one tweet. 74,000 impressions on this tweet. I said, Dad, is it offside? He says it's offside, Mark. It's offside. So watch this. My dad says it's offside. He said, I don't know what hockey means offside now anymore. So guess what happens? Yesterday, my dad calls me. He's having coffee with two former referee, Mark Perry, and another one, and another official from past NHL, and they're having coffee together.
Yep.
The three of them are sitting down in Windsor, Ontario, having coffee. My dad says now, he says, Mark, I deem it to be offside. But after having conversation with these officials, they're saying now is that no, they changed the rule. And I said, so yeah, do you know about any rule change, Jesse? No, none of us do, right? They want more goals. That's what they said. They want more goals in the NHL.
Well, we know that.
So they're making this like a delayed offside, but it's not a delayed offside because he carried it across the line. Delayed
that was the thing. They said he didn't touch it on that side to the other side. You're like, okay, I get that. Tag. I get tag up. I understand.
But that's not a tag up. A tag up is when you dump it in, and then that is when it pertains to that. Not when the guy's carrying it across, and then so he's carrying it across, then he doesn't touch it when he.
I know.
No, that's
it
not
was supposed to be not possession, and that was possession.
Go. That's the NHL's dysfunctionality when people don't know what that is.
Well, this goes all the way back. Remember the Brett Hull, Dallas Stars, Buffalo Sabres?
Of
all
course.
year long, in all playoffs long, they're one thing. Any skate in the crease, this goal doesn't count.
That's right.
But what happens in the final game?
Yeah.
Brett Hull skate in the crease, and they let it go in overtime.
Yeah.
And you're like, that is exactly the problem with pro sports. You don't get consistent. And anything pisses a fan off more, it's poor officiating. And I can't even really blame the officials. I have to blame the league because they looked at it. They looked at the kicking, distinct kicking
what
thing.
About the NFL?
Well, that's what I mean. It's pro sports.
What I love with all my heart.
I know.
You imagine what the hell is pass interference now in the NFL?
Well,
what the hell is pass interference in the
NFL? Or
NFL?
roughing the quarterback?
Oh, this is crazy. Why don't they just put a flag on the side of the quarterbacks? Because you're getting it's the problem is the Jack Lamberts of the world and all these other great football players from back in the day must think to themselves.
Well, Joe Montana said that he would play till he was 50 because
Joe Montana would have broke every record in the history of the NFL. Forget Tom Brady. I'm not joking. Forget them all.
Yeah, Joe could have. You're right. You're absolutely right.
The way the game is played right now, that is probably the biggest mistake in the history of the NFL is what they've done with this letting the quarterbacks get a pass from getting hit. It is. Why don't you just put a red shirt on them like they do in training camp, and you're not allowed to. You can just two-hand touch him, and he's kind of down, and that's the end of it. Because what poor defensive, even Tom Brady said it last year. He said it's not fair for defensive. Tom Brady. On the way out, he's doing his last song and dance, maybe 1 more year, 2 more years. Maybe he played a 60,
3.
Who knows? So he's thinking to himself, you know what, though? Jesse, you just said Montana can play till he's 50. Yeah. You know what? Tom Brady can play till he's 50 at this because he can't get busted up. Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy. The worst, though, has to be the NBA because you do not know night
Jesse,
in, night out.
What's a travel?
A charge they don't call the same every night.
Unbelievable.
A clear slap foul 1 minute, 2 minutes later, not a foul. You're like,
it's awful.
It's mind blowing. And I understand there's fast speed, and I get that, but you're professional referees. And
I don't want to get off topic, but can we get the Greek Freak in Toronto, please? Please, right now on the Me and Jesse podcast. We want the Greek Freak in Toronto, and that's all I want for Christmas. That's all I want for my birthday. I want the Greek Freak shirt so I can purchase it and wear it on my back that he plays in Toronto. There's nothing happening in Milwaukee anymore. You guys are done. But the Raptors still have all these great young players.
We got Scotty.
That's right. And if you slide in the Greek Freak with that group.
Pascal's awesome then. Scotty's unreal.
Yes. I'm telling you.
And you probably have to give up Van Vliet and Picks and a bunch of other guys. But
you have the Greek Freak, and now you're going to play a whole different game with him in the ball game. And let me tell you, if you're listening, Greek Freak, Canada's a beautiful place to live. That's all I'm going to say. Yes.
Well, I mean, really, Messiah's got to get on that one and get that done.
Yes. Messiah's got to put that sprinkle juice of his, like he knows
he did. He rescued his family from wherever it was, and then brought him to Greece, and it was all him. It was Messiah that did it. So, I mean,
You
everyone
can't forget about that. You can't forget about that.
I think you owe him, actually.
Time to pay us back. you might, Jesse, I like that. You might not owe him, but you owe us. Okay, yeah. You owe us. Okay, we want to collect right about now.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I think there needs to be some serious investment in the NHL this offseason in really getting these calls, because, I mean, he spent that long looking and then the rule, like, okay, we changed the rule a while ago, but you didn't tell anybody. Like, how can that many people be shocked?
Yes.
Like, everybody saying, "Well, what? That doesn't make sense." And like, "Oh, that's the rule now." And then it coming out like, "Okay, that is the rule now." And like, you're like, "Well, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, why wouldn't this be a thing that we learned? Like, why wouldn't this be talked about before? Sure. Like, why wouldn't they have videos showing this is what happens?" Do you know that another crazy thing about the NHL? This is Gary Bettman's 30th year coming up. How has that guy kept his job?
I have no idea.
Honestly, the worst.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And again, people like, well, he just made it all this far. It's like, well, that could have happened on its own. Like, I don't know. This guy.
Well, I think it comes down to owners making money. So if they're making money, if they make money, nothing else matters. It's the same thing in NFL. I've always said that about the NFL. How is he still the commissioner of the NFL? And the reason why
makes money.
They make so much money, so they don't
but the
care.
NHL hasn't. Like it's now just starting to be in the States. It's taken 30 years for them to. Like, that should have happened by year 10.
Long time ago.
By 20 years ago, we should have had 20 years of American coverage in there. And now it's just starting.
But we can say that about a lot of sports, though, Jesse. Look at the UFC. You could say the same thing about them too. Why is there not a Nike swoosh in the middle of the mat? Why isn't Rolex a sponsor of theirs? Why isn't all these things done? Because I'm telling you, man.
I actually do think there's a little political part of that.
Yeah.
I do think that Nike doesn't want to be involved.
There you go, right? But that's what I'm trying to tell you about NHL too. When at certain times of the year, LPGA golf has more viewership than the NHL.
Yeah, how do you run it up? How do you run it back all the time? Yeah.
How do you go pitch that to different networks in the United States going, "Hey, people are going to watch this hockey stuff." Well, maybe they won't. Maybe only during the playoffs, but wait a second, you mean in June when the NBA's on? I don't think so.
I actually was watching a show.
Cuz now NBA lines up with the NHL, and especially in the playoff times. Now the NBA's in the finals right now with Golden State and Boston, and now we're in the second semis rounds in the NHL, and you're watching TV in the States. You're like, well, no, I'm not watching hockey. I'm watching the NBA.
Yeah. So I think that I actually heard this. Like, I was watching a show. I forget where it was, but they were talking about the AHL teams, and a lot of the AHL teams in the States. Every intermission, they'd bring other skaters out on the ice and talk to the audience about the rules.
Who told you? I've heard about that.
Yeah, like they would actually go through it, like, this is what an offside is. This is what, and they'd shoot the puck to the other ice, and then a ref would blow the whistle, and like, that's icing.
That's weird.
You can't shoot, like, to explain the game, because
of course
people didn't know what was happening. So it was actually a really interesting thing. But the NHL, thinks too much of itself to not explain that. I really think
yes
that, we're the NHL, we don't need to do that. No, you do. You need to educate your fans, because
playoff hockey right now, if you're at home and your kid wants to play in the NHL, you better tell him to better work on his speed, because the speed of the game right now I have never seen it this fast. Like, it is just too fast. And you got to be able to follow this game. And if you're Canadian, you're used to following the puck and following the game. But if you're jumping on the bandwagon right now and you think this is normal, it's not.
Yeah.
Because what's going on right now with the Colorado Oilers series, the speed of that game, that is not normal, man. And when Calgary was playing Edmonton too, there was a lot of speed on that ice, and you were like, wow, this is just really fast.
Yeah, fast. And that's what a lot of teams are focused on now, is building that speed, because hard to defend. You take penalties. You're watching the Oilers.
You're watching the Oilers, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things. You can get exposed that way. What else is going on now?
Well, I'm starting to golf again.
Oh boy.
Yes. Yeah, my backyard has the mat.
You get your new clubs?
Has a flag. I got a new driver. I got a new putter. I got my wedges all set. I'm all ready to go, man. I'm playing this Thursday for the first time in years. But I've been hitting. I got a shag bag. You know what a shag bag is?
I do. I was at your house and you asked me if I knew what that was.
Okay, yeah, because most people don't know what a shag bag is. Okay, and a shag bag, my shag bag's full. Okay, so I got full golf balls, all Titleist balls. These are not balls you use on the course. These are the ones you use to shag, and you hit them in your backyard. So I have the mat set up in my backyard. I have a pin set up 56 yards away, and I chip to the pin. And so I've been practicing. I go to the golf course. I practice on the range, but I'm playing this Thursday for the first time in years and years and years and years. And I used to be very good at golf. So it's very difficult to play a game you used to be very good at, and then now you're coming back to it, so you don't play the same way, and it totally sucks. But I kind of put a different thing in my head this time around about just playing the game, managing the golf. Yeah, like, yes, managing the game, playing the game in a very conservative but not out of the norm way. And that way in my head, if I shoot something, like in the low 80s or whatever, I can live with that.
Oh, that would be a good comeback.
Yes, and most people go, oh my God, if I ever shot in the low 80s, that'd be great. I used to shoot in the mid 70s, high 70s, right? So if I can be under 85, 84, 83, 82, 81 in that range, I can live with that. You know what I mean?
What if you pull out a good old 98?
Oh, well, for the first time out, I will figure it out. But one thing I realized about the game of golf that I love with all my heart: practice.
Oh, it is. You have to invest.
If you don't practice, this is the one game you could go box tomorrow and still kind of box a little bit. You could go play hockey. You'd be okay. You can go do all these things. But golf, it's all about timing. And I'm telling you, I hit every day in my back. I go to the range 3 times a week. I go to my backyard every day, and I go to the putting greens, and I practice it in between hiking and everything else and working. And I can feel like it's going to be different. Like it's like, and the way they make these clubs now, oh my God, Jesse, it's like cheating.
The sweet spot is ridiculous.
Oh, Jesse, if they make it any bigger, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I was watching whatever it was a tailor-made driver or something.
I got it.
Like, oh, did you?
I got the new
hit
one,
it
right?
like on the toe, and it goes like dead straight.
But it's weird. It's weird. I watched something in golf recently, which I have to make a little comment about, is when the way they're getting relief from places is absolutely mind-boggling. They're getting relief. Like, I saw Tiger was in the lip of a bunker the other day, and they gave him relief from that. And I was like, why would he get relief? Like, that would be, you have to hit that. You know what I'm saying? And they're giving guys on the PGA Tour now, like, they give them relief from places like back in the day you would never get relief from. You'd have to take a penalty stroke. You'd have to take a penalty stroke and then hit the ball, right? Yeah. From relief. But Tiger was asking for relief, and I'm like, relief from what? A tough shot? Yeah, that's a tough shot. And they gave him relief from it, and they've been doing that lots on the PGA Tour. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why they do that. But maybe someone that watches the podcast can explain to me how these golfers are getting relief for shots that before you'd have to hit. Well, and still the greatest golfer of all time will tell you the same thing. Jack Nicklaus, he'll tell you, and we can argue that all day long for people that watch the Me and Jesse podcast. But the greatest golfer of all time with the most majors is still Jack Nicklaus.
It is. It's Jack.
Yeah, it's Jack.
Yeah. I can't really argue with that.
So you were on the island. It could have been Tiger, but when you were on the island, you must have golfed
all the time. I had 3 different memberships, 3 different courses.
Oh Jesus! Wow. Yeah, because you can, right?
Yeah.
You can, like, all year long.
A lot of it. Like, they would close it December, January, part of February because of rain. But
you're playing 8 months a year.
You're playing a lot. Yeah,
wow.
You could play a lot of times. And I had like a big course membership, a par 3 membership,
3 membership, and
then like a pitch and putt membership.
Wow.
And like, so I'd do the pitch and putt like twice a day, every day.
Yeah, you could.
And
just
then
keep
I do
going.
the par 3, 5 times a week, and then I do the big course probably 2-3 times a week.
just playing golf.
It was golf. Like, that's all you did. Like, you golfed all the time, and it was great. But and again, it's one of those things like, the cost reward thing is so steep.
It's not a cheap sport to get involved in now. Even if kids want to play today, it's not. Like, we can pretend like that they want to make this for the inner city kids or whatever the case may be. That is not the case.
No, it's not accessible that way. And they, really the courses don't want that either. They want to be able to charge their $120 a person green fee. And so you're like, that's. And for and again, like you said it before, the way to be good at golf is by playing golf, and you have to play a lot.
You have to practice,
and you play when you get to a level that you play good, and then you don't play, and you go on up and play. You remember how you were before, and it's frustrating because you're not that, and you can't just magically turn that button on.
You cannot
you haven't played for 6 months. So, it's one of those things that I just haven't kept going because it's just it wasn't.
Like I said, I've done everything to practice, and I just keep practicing, and I have some really good days practicing, but I'm playing for the first time in years this Thursday, and like I said, it is what it is. But I'm not going to put expectations on myself anymore for that kind of stuff. How I used to be good at something doesn't matter anymore. It's just get out there and play and look like I know how to play the game of golf, which I do.
Well, thanks so much, Crystal Glass. Call 310-GLASS for all your glass needs.
Or crystalglass.ca.
That too.
And check out Meatheads specialty shop, meats and seafood.
Oh, seafood.
Yes, they have it all now. I mean, the shop looks great. I was in there the other day, and it's I still like the meat aspect of things, So they have all kinds of meat. They're even bringing in some crazy meats, but that's not my department. But
I love a good lamb.
Yeah. Oh, there you
love
go.
Lamb.
I heard the maybe little alligator coming in.
Oh, I've had alligator.
Have you?
Yes.
How was it? Tough.
A little bit tough.
Tough.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is actually.
I would imagine it would be tough.
It's not bad, but it's not.
I had shark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mako.
I'm a little upset that we don't get shark fin soup anymore because I would love a bowl of that.
Have you had it in the past?
No.
Okay.
But now it's illegal.
Why? Oh, because of the fin. Yeah.
Sharks or something.
Yeah. I'm not saying one word about this. I don't need no shit from shark people. So no.
Don't need Jessica Alba calling you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, everybody, next week, NBA star, G League star, 3-time player of the year in the CBL
MVP
Stingers, and Jesse called it many years ago, saying this guy's special. This guy's special. He'll be on the show next week, next Monday. Xavier Moon.
Until then, that's Mark. I'm Jesse. Good luck on Thursday. Actually, Wednesday. Hopefully to see you at the game, everyone, if you're in the Edmonton area.
Yes. Well, wait a second. Wednesday night, baby. Stingers game. Me and Jesse Martineau will be there with our dear friend Ken Franchuk. And then
drown your Oilers' tears with Stingers' happiness. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.